Did your mum say that you weren't funny? That's terrible.
Yeah, when I was 19 and I first said to my mum I want to be a stand-up comic, she just said, but you're not funny.
You're not funny, though.
But I think it was her way of going, no, just get a real job.
Exactly.
I think that's what it was.
Want to be an accountant or something. something steady, something with a future. Absolutely.
I was at university at the time. I was studying to be a journalist, and I think she just thought I was going to throw it all away and then just, you know, be a stand-up comic. I mean, I waited until I threw it all away.
But it's worked.
I met him very early on when I was 19.
Oh, there he is.
And then I met him in Adelaide, and I was working in radio at the time, but still doing stand-up. And I was asked to go backstage and take some people to meet Billy backstage. Right. And as soon as he found out I was a comedian, he went, oh, my God, did you like my show? And I went, yeah, God, the show's amazing. And then he just started giving me advice. He went,
wow.
You'll find it gets easier as you go along, you know. Best advice ever. He said, silence is your best friend. He said, people think when the audience aren't laughing, they don't like you. No, if they're silent, they're listening.
Ah.
If they're coughing, they hate you. But then he said, but just do it. Never stop doing it. You'll hate it, but you'll love it. And I remember him walking down the hallway off to his dressing room and then turning and looking at me and going, just do it.
Wow.
And so about a month after that, I had to choose. The boss of the radio station said, is it going to be stand-up or is it going to be radio? You have to make a decision. And this little voice was, just do it, just do it. I went, no, I'm going to do stand-up. So I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival for the first time, and then I started getting shows in London. And about 3 or 4 years later, I was at the London Comedy Store, and it happened to be the one night that Billy Connolly decided to drop in and watch the show.
Lovely.
And I was the last act on, so I told the whole story on stage. And I said, Billy, I just want to say thank you. Because of you, I'm here right now. And then I thought, oh, have I overplayed it? Is that a bit weird? And he came backstage and he went, you did it! I'm so proud of you! And it was big hugs all around. So he really just kept popping up all the way throughout the book.
Oh, he's amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. I remember seeing him live and I was actually sore laughing. It was painful. Oh. Towards the end, it was like, don't tell any more jokes because they're so hurt.
And even, I mean, he stayed back that night at the Comedy Store. He stayed backstage for a good hour. Wow. And the backstage is tiny. Yeah. And we were kind of going, sorry, it's not a very big backstage. Oh, I don't like big backstages. It makes me not want to go on stage, you know. If it's a bit dingy, then I want to be out there, you know.
Love it. It's fantastic. Not only Billy Connolly, for goodness sake. Let's name drop.
Go on.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
So Whoopi and I met at the Royal Variety Performers. And so what happens is everyone who's on the bill isn't famous all of a sudden because the Queen is the famous one.
Indeed.
So you're standing on stage with, and on this particular night, it was Miley Cyrus, Whoopi Goldberg, Twiggy Anastasia, Bette Midler, Andre Rieu. Was this mad... Lady Gaga was standing next to me.
Was she wearing her meat dress?
No, she wasn't. She was wearing a Victorian... No, an Elizabethan dress.
Because I would always think under the lights that would kind of start cooking. And it wouldn't be very nice. We don't like that.
I mean, that's the worst thing when you're about to meet the Queen and you can smell bacon.
Not
Do you know what I mean?
Not good.
Because you're hungry.
Well, it's usually fresh paint that she smells as she's going round. She thinks the world smells of that. Oh, God bless her.
So there was this weird... And you know, you're standing next to Lady Gaga and I'm thinking, what do I say?
I know, small
As the Queen's approaching, honestly, I went, have you ever seen the Mr. Bean sketch where he meets the Queen? And Gaga's like, no. Forget it. Just forget it. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, I should behave myself. But Whoopi Goldberg became a good mate, as did Russell Crowe. He's a good pal, too.
Yeah, well,
They played rugby together.
Well, kind of. So I've just been back in Australia playing Disability Rugby League. Yep. And we played against Russell Crowe's team because he owns the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So he came into our dressing room afterwards to congratulate us all and then sent me a text, because I've met him a few times on the last leg, and then sent me a text afterwards saying, do you want to come up to my farm for a night and just hang out and just get away from it all?
Cool.
And I'm not going to say no to that.
Ooh.
But the thing was, he was very insistent that we ride quad bikes the next morning around his farm. And I only had about 20 minutes before my flight to then go and do my next show. And I was like, I don't know if I've got time. I said, how about I just hop on the back of your quad bike? And beautifully he went, you could do that, but you'll feel better about yourself if you don't. OK, fair enough. I'm going to ride a quad bike.
OK, fine.
So we rode quad bikes around his farm, and it turned out the reason he wanted me to do it was that Jimmy Carr did it a couple of years ago and broke his wrist.
Oh.
And so as soon as I got off the bike, he texted Jimmy and said, Adam Hills was just here and didn't break anything.
And was absolutely fine. And
Jimmy texted back, to be fair, it's a lot harder for Adam to put a foot wrong.
Which is very true. See, I love that. And I love that we're allowed to make... You know, doing the last leg,
yes.
You've broken down so many barriers that... Because you know how people... if you forgive me, pussyfoot around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And they do. Yeah. And people don't quite know what to say. And you've made it all right.
Well, I think thankfully...
It's been really good, that. It really has.
I'd been at the Paralympics in 2008 and I'd hung out with a lot of the Australian Paralympians, so I had seen the jokes that they do, most of which I can't do on air because they're horrific. But it's funny, you know, as well as it being triumphant and brilliant and inspiring and all of that kind of stuff, it's hilarious. I mean, even playing disability rugby, it's really funny. We've got one guy in our team who, after the first game, had to have his stump, because he's an above-knee amputee, they had to re-amputate it because he had done so much damage in the first game.
Crikey, that's hardcore.
But he would still come to training every week.
Right.
And his wife was so scared that he was going to do himself more damage, she hid his legs around the house. And he turned up on crutches, and I looked at him and went, yeah, you know where they are, right? And he went, no.
He's going to whack you.
And she said, I've put them in somewhere I know he'll never look. I'm like, what, in the washing machine?